Today, I want to share with you one of the shocking truths that I discovered when working with a diabetic client of mine. He was battling cravings with sugary soft drinks, and I thought that it would be responsible to advise that he tried a zero version or a diet version of the drink that he enjoyed, which was Dr. Pepper. But here's where I was wrong. I started taking a deeper look at these zero versions and how they've been destroying type 2 diabetics. And if you're wondering what the best sweeteners are and what you should be drinking, that's exactly what this video is going to do, because you're likely sabotaging yourself as well. And we're going to dive into the shocking science and the one sweetener that God has designed to fix your health. Dr. Jason Fung proved that artificial sweeteners like aspartame trick your brain. They send a sweetness signal so that even if you aren't having any calories, your pancreas still pumps your bloodstream with insulin. And because of this, your body enters fat storage mode. So you're locked into feeling hungry, craving carbs, and gaining the weight that you're trying to lose. And that's why study after study links diet soda to worse obesity and diabetes. So let's get straight into it. Let's take a look. I want to start here at the very top of the list, which is diet soda. So this is Diet Coke, Diet Pepsi, Diet Dr. Pepper, any sort of diet version of your favorite sodas. And this one has got something known as caramel coloring and potassium benzoate. And caramel coloring is seen to damage your arteries the same way that sugar does in your blood when you consume sugar as a diabetic. This caramel coloring causes something called AGEs, which rusts the inner of your body. And potassium benzoate, which is in these drinks, also calcifies and deteriorates your teeth as you drink it. So for this reason, I'm going to give Coke Light a D. I'm going to say this is something that you should drink only if you have to. Now, what about something like this vitamin water? Okay, this is a zero sugar vitamin water. And look, some of these do contain aspartame, which is what we're trying to avoid, but a lot of these also contain sucralose. And sucralose is a lot better as it is a natural sweetener, but it's still not perfect. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give vitamin water a B. So if you are at the gas station or you're at the shops and you want to try vitamin water, I'm going to give it a B. It's good, but it's not perfect. There is a lot better out there. Now, what about sugar-free Red Bull? So sugar-free Red Bull or sugar-free Monster, what does this do to our blood sugar? What does this do to our weight gain? So it does contain aspartame in it. And I would say that it would be C tier, but because of the high caffeine content, you're really going to stress your body out. And with that stress, when you produce cortisol, that can significantly affect your blood sugar. If you have diabetes, you will notice that when you're stressed at work or you can't get sleep or you're stressed about your health, your blood sugar becomes unstable. And high caffeine drinks can really trigger the same effect. So instead of giving it a C, I'm going to give this a D as well. So I'm going to put Red Bull right there next to Coke Light, and I'm also going to give that a D. Now, what about Gatorade Zero? So Gatorade Zero is also quite a popular drink, especially for the young people. And as you can see, it says here 0 grams of sugar per bottle. So with Gatorade Zero, it does have some positive electrolytes and things, and a lot of them are sweetened with sucralose, which is better than aspartame. So for Gatorade Zero, I'm also going to give this, I would actually give this an A tier. I'm going to give Gatorade Zero an A tier. I think that it's pretty decent. It's got some good electrolytes. but there is still better out there, and we're going to show you. And what's great about vitamin water is that some of them do have stevia, which is an incredible natural sweetener for diabetics. So vitamin water, Gatorade Zero, they're very, very close. They might actually be tied. So I might even put it here on the border and say that it's a B+. Cool. Let's take a look at Olipop. So Olipop is a brand that's been blowing up recently. It's got very low sugar. It's got a lot of prebiotics and fiber, and a lot of Olipop is sweetened with something called monk fruit. And I first found out about monk fruit by looking at some of Jocko Willink's products. If you know Jocko Willink, he's a podcaster, he's an author, he's a Navy SEAL, and he's also, I think, a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So he's a pretty hardcore guy, and he started a supplement brand that was using monk fruit for sweetening. So I was like, let me check this out. So monk fruit, I would say, considering how natural it is, considering its effect on cravings and blood sugar and fat storage, I would actually rank monk fruit as S tier. It's one of the best things you can have. It doesn't have a nasty aftertaste, and it's really, really good for you. So I would rank monk fruit as an S tier, and Olipop does have monk fruit, so I'm gonna put it up there. It's also got some apple cider vinegar in it, which is really, really good for your gut and for digestion. And that's the problem with a lot of these artificial sweeteners, is what they do to your gut biome. They destroy the bacteria in your gut biome that increases your cravings for positive, healthy foods. And they breed the bacteria in your gut that cause cravings. And I want to now move onto Celsius, okay? So Celsius is similar to Red Bull because they're both caffeinated, but because it's got stevia in it, it's a much healthier sweetener than Red Bull. So Celsius, 0 calories, high in caffeine, and sweetened with stevia. There's also no preservatives. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give it an A tier. And the only reason that Celsius doesn't get S tier is because of the high caffeine content, which might stress your body, like what we spoke about earlier. Now, let's talk about Fresca. Fresca is supposed to be some healthy, sparkling soda water. It's made by the same company that made Coke. And the question is it any good? It's sparkling water, it's sweetened, but what's in it? End of the day, it's sweetened with aspartame, and that's gonna kill your gut. It's gonna spike those cravings, and it might even push your body to produce more insulin. So I would say that Fresca is most likely in E tier. I'm gonna actually put Fresca in E tier. And let's talk about Coke Zero. So the long awaited debate, Coke Zero or Diet Coke. And funny enough, Coke Zero is actually a little bit healthier. It does have less caffeine, and there's also a few things that they add to it that make it much better for your gut biome. But because it still has this caramel coloring and potassium benzoate, it's not gonna make it up to be A or S tier. This is gonna be around C tier. Now, what about these last two? This is Zevia, which has been growing popular in the past few years. It's a 0 sugar soda, and it says naturally flavored, but what's really inside of it? So Zevia, an allulose sweetener. Most of these drink companies don't rely on allulose because it is quite expensive to produce, and obviously they are a business, they're trying to keep their costs low, so they'll often use stevia, monk fruit, or sucralose. But allulose is actually one of the very, very best sweeteners on the planet. So if you can get your hands on it, it's an awesome thing to put in your smoothies or your coffee. I'm gonna give allulose an S tier. It's one of the best things that you can have in terms of sweeteners. If you do love honey, I've actually found on Amazon brands that sweeten their honey with allulose and they remove the sugar. That's probably the best honey that you can have, is allulose sweetened honey. as a diabetic. You can put that in your coffee, you can put it in your smoothies, you can even put it on your food. But what about this Zevia drink? What's awesome about Zevia is that it's also sweetened with stevia. So there's no aspartame, there's no artificial sweeteners. I'm gonna give this guy an S tier as well. What I really like about the Zevia brand, when I went to their page, is not only do they have a lot of alternatives to your favorite drinks, you know, like cream soda, Dr. Pepper, Coca-Cola, cherry Coke, vanilla Coke. They have all these alternatives to those drinks. But also when I saw that they produced sugar-free sodas that are naturally sweetened for kids that are fully sold out, I thought that was just incredible for their brand mission. And these sodas were all sold out. So that was really, really awesome to see that, you know, there's parents out there who are rather giving their kids stevia sweetened sodas instead of artificially sweetened or sugary drinks. Now, I want to finish up and wrap up this list just talking about what we need to focus on here. So I've added some text to this list just to show you the ranking once again. We have stevia, monk fruit, and allulose as S tier natural sweeteners. Then at A, we have Celsius because it has stevia in it, so it gets points for that. But the fact that it's so high in caffeine might spike your cortisol and affect your blood sugar. At position B plus or AB, we have Vitamin Water Zero and Gatorade Zero because these have sucralose and erythritol, which are natural sweeteners. At number C, we have Coke Zero, which is probably the king of the worst drinks. It's the king of the artificial. So if you are going to go artificial, Coke Zero is your best bet, but it still has aspartame and caramel coloring and things that chip away at the enamel in your teeth. And then at D tier, we have Coke Light and Red Bull. These are just packed with caffeine and aspartame. And then at E tier, we have Fresca, which is also just loaded with preservatives and aspartame, and I highly do not recommend. So this is my comprehensive list. As I said, stevia, monk fruit, allulose, please, please, please give them a try. Go on Amazon, find foods and drinks that are packed with stevia, monk fruit, and allulose. Find out which one is your favorite and stick with it because it will change your life and your blood sugar for the better. Stick with natural, stick with godly, and avoid anything that was made in a lab because scientists, doctors, they most likely don't care about you. They're most likely trying to just produce whatever is cheapest. And these are some of the things that I recommend to my clients that help them reverse diabetes. And if you want to learn more about reversing diabetes naturally with biblical principles, biblical foods, and doing it God's way, living your best life and getting off of medication, go into the description of this video. I have 2 things that I can help you with. Number 1 is you can book a free 30-minute strategy call, or you can enroll in my free 30-minute mini course that dives into some of these topics. You stay blessed.